If r of x equals p of x minus q of x, p of x equals negative 3 times x plus 1 squared plus 2, and q of x equals x minus 3 squared minus 4, write the most simplified form of r of x. Okay, so looking for r of x, then we know that's equal to p of x minus q of x, so we can just substitute in what we're given for the equations of p of x and q of x. So down below here, we can just substitute in negative 3 times x plus 1 squared plus 2, and then minus q of x. Let's make sure to put big parentheses or brackets around q of x since it's going to be subtracted, and then we can just copy the equation for q of x. So now we can simplify this a little bit by seeing the x plus 1 squared and the x minus 3 squared. We can just write those out a little bit more, expand them so that we can later distribute them. So we know x plus 1 squared is just the same thing as x plus 1 times x plus 1. And then we still have plus 2, and then minus, well, x minus 3 squared is just x minus 3 times x minus 3 minus 4. Okay, so we can distribute a little bit as we go. So we can distribute the negative 3 in here. We get negative 3 times x is negative 3x, and negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. And then that's still multiplied by x plus 1, and then plus 2, and then minus, we can simplify inside here. So x minus 3 times x minus 3, we can simplify and distribute. So x times x is x squared. X times negative 3 is negative 3x. And then negative 3 times x is negative 3x. And negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. And then minus 4. And now we can do a similar thing here and distribute these front two terms. So negative 3x times x is negative 3x squared. Negative 3x times positive 1 is negative 3x. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. And negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. And then plus 2. And then minus, let's just simplify what's inside here. So since these are all added and subtracted, we no longer need parentheses here since nothing's multiplied inside. So we can just put x squared, and then negative 3x minus 3x is just minus 6x. And then plus 9 and minus 4 is plus 5. And the reason we can go ahead and simplify the 9 and the 4, even though there's parentheses there, is again just because these are all added and subtracted here, and so nothing's multiplied anymore. And so let's go ahead and keep simplifying. So we have negative 3x squared, and then negative 3x minus 3x. Well, we know that's minus 6x. And then negative 3 plus 2, that's just minus 1. And then minus this whole term, and let's go ahead and distribute that minus. So we have minus x squared minus negative 6x, that's plus 6x, and then minus 5. So now we've finally gotten rid of all of our parentheses and the multiplication, and so we can go ahead and just combine like terms. So we have a negative 3x squared, and we have a negative x squared. So negative 3 minus 1 is negative 4x squared. And then we have a negative 6x and a positive 6x. Those add to 0. And then we have a negative 1 and negative 5. So those add to negative 6. So our final answer we see is r of x equals negative 4x squared minus 6.